Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Happy to be here. And I guess we go through it ahead because we have to stick to the time planning because Bruno is very looking for it. So my name is Clovis and this is Anton, and together we run the type foundry Nouvelle Noire, which is located in Zurich. As mentioned in the program, we're going to talk about the design of a typeface based on historical findings. And all this is about the former Kunstgewerbeschule, which can be translated as School for Arts and Crafts, and the Kunstgewerbemuseum, which is the Museum for Arts and Crafts of Zurich. So the museum was founded in 1875 and the school was founded in 1878. In 1933, both school and museum moved together into a new building, which was built between 1930 and 1933. And the building you are seeing here, so this is the school and museum, is today protected as a historic monument. Beside the modernist architecture inspired by the Bauhaus, the signage on the building is one of the most apparent signs of that time. The letters were designed in 1933 by Ernst Keller. He was an influential teacher and designer and formed generations of designers who shaped the renommee of the Swiss style. These were, for example, Walter Kech, Richard Paul-Lohse, Josef Müller-Brockmann, Laura Lamm, Carlo Vivarelli, and also Hans-Eduard Meyer, just a few. The lettering inside the building has been adapted in the same manner as on the outside, but it is not certain if the design is the same. It could have been created by Keller, but until today it's not proven. Some signage elements have been added in the following years, such as these enamel boards, amongst others. In the 1960s and 1990s, the building underwent a number of renovations, where the new letterings in the old style had been drawn. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. The K18 you see at the top left is probably an original. The yellow application is younger, but we don't know exactly from which period. Also, this lettering has been applied later. We don't know who did it, but we certainly know that it wasn't a master hand. Probably the design was well done, but the execution wasn't. At the end of the 90s, ongoing major renovation, the former signage, which was on the facade, was removed because of the museum's name change. Plans had been made for placing the outside signage with a new name, Museum für Gestaltung, on the facade, but then it never got accepted due to the protection of the building as a historical monument. During that period, signage was applied to the building following a proposal made by the Swiss designer Cornel Wittli. So the museum's name was mounted on a metal frame and placed on top of the roof. In a second phase, by finishing the renovation of the facade, the interior renovation started. Rudolf Barmettler, professor for typography and type design at the Zurich University of the Arts, was commissioned to create a typeface for expanding the existing signage. The door labels needed to read, for example, WC Damen or WC Herren, which means toilets for men and women. And here the word says no smoking. During this renovation, existing wallpaper was removed and original letterings appeared. Unfortunately, the original were removed and thrown to the trash by workers until Rudolf Barmettler pulled them out and secured them. Later, numbers were needed and for relabeling classrooms. And new terms such as Vortragssaal, which means lecture hall, were added. Rudolf Barmettler turned this commission into a student project, which integrated into his teaching in the visual communication class. The original pieces of wallpaper were analyzed, retraced, redrawn, and redrawn with ink by students. Many missing letters had to be created in order to complete an alphabet. This was an excellent exercise for students, such as they could learn to develop variants and how to make design decisions. Also, a real project comes with other constraints compared to a fictive task. To ensure that all students work with the same parameters, some standards had to be defined at the beginning of the development of the alphabet, as for example, thicknesses for vertical and horizontal strokes, body, ink height, etc. Finally, the required words could be written and were ready to be applied to create a new signage. After finishing the job for the university, Rudolf Barmettler got hooked by the idea to create a typeface with an extended character set. Besides his teaching at ZHdK, he was also brought to teach at another design school in Zurich in 2003, and he took the project with him. He collaborated with Reinhard Haus, who was also a teacher and a former art director at ATypI. In their classes, they continued to develop the typeface, which finally got named Square. A family was planned and this program was put together, but unfortunately got never finished. There were two different styles of the same type in circulation in the building. One style had horizontal endings, while the other style had vertical endings. From 2003 to 2012, the square typeface was used for numbering and lettering indoors and partly used for print and products at the University of the Arts. Meanwhile, well, it's safe to say that it was almost 10 years later, new plans were made for the facade. In the planning of the phase of the most recent renovation, which was carried out in 2016 and 17, this visualization was made to try to bring back the signage on the facade. Obviously, for this simulation, the architect had used the typeface Rektorat, which is not appropriated for this kind for this kind of use. Okay. So it was not Rektorat, but Square. So this was the moment where we were approached to begin to work on a signage typeface for the museum. Anton, it's further now.
Let us go some years back to 2014 when. Do you hear me? Yeah. Okay. When Rudolf Barmettler asked me to partner with him for the creation of the type family Rektorat. His idea was to create a type family, which is a derivation of the original creation from 1930s. At that time, I thought that the development of a type environment is a simple thing. You only have to copy the existing examples, tweak it a bit, and blink the new typeface is ready. But now I know that it's not that easy. When we started with the development of Rektorat family, we had a handful of original and almost original findings that were created exclusively for the signage of the Museum für Gestaltung. And we had Square, created by many hands, professionals and students in 2001 to 2003. In the first step, we had to define the basics, such as the shape and countershape, to see how round or squared we should create the letters. The problem was that the shapes of the findings weren't consistent. Not in the curves, not in the stroke modulation. Even the strokes didn't end consistently. Sometimes they end horizontally, sometimes vertically. And this is not limited to separate findings. It even was done within one word. This in findings from the early years, as well as in such from the 1960s. At the beginning, we drew some basic characters in several ways. This way we could control the behavior of the shapes and countershapes through the complete family. We liked the concept of the edgy counterpunches and the rounded external shapes. Our job was to figure out how we could handle these concepts, to find a solution that takes the best out of it and transfers it to a type family. The test in the different ways showed another issue. If we wanted to stick to the low contrast of the strokes, we were limited to a certain boldness, because letters such as S and E and A would get too black otherwise. After those basic settings, we started with the expansion to the complete character set. For some characters, we had to find solutions because their designs weren't consistent. In this particular case of the K, we decided to keep the inconsistency in the type family. We took the uppercase K with the shifted diagonals and the lowercase k with the diagonals joined together. We slightly equalized the proportions of the letters. In special, we margined F and T, which were very narrow in the original findings. Furthermore, we added a bit spacing to all letters, so it's optimal for use in smaller type sizes than the original letterings. Soon, we created all characters we had a sample for and started to create punctuation marks and some symbols and so on. Because we didn't have any examples for those characters, we had to find a form that fits the most to the rest. Simple characters such as the comma, for example, were harder work than we assumed. Often, the creations that looked promising in the first impression didn't fit the family. The target was to find the balance between a simple replica and not losing the modernist style. We took our time and created the Rektorat family with 14 waves, filled folders full of corrections, and slowly but steadily were ready to finish. In 2016, we were almost done. Then Rudolf Barmettler got a request for the design of the new lettering for the facade for the Museum für Gestaltung in Zurich. It has to be as close to the original letterings as possible, but it had to be written Museum für Gestaltung instead of Kunstgewerbeschule. Because Rudolf and I were working on the Rektorat, he asked me to do this job together. First, we had to look at the old photographs from the facade and the drawings from the 1990s. Then, we were allowed to see the old metal letters that are stored in a wooden box in the archive in the museum. We photographed and measured every letter. The measurement had shown some, in our point of view, inaccurate details. For example, the S. The horizontal stroke on the cap side is lighter than the one on the baseline, which is fine. But the upper right space is bigger than the lower one, which is something we didn't want to compete blindly. We drew all letters accordingly to the original sample, but there were some things we wanted to improve, and we created a slightly optimized version for the presentation to the project committee. We enlightened the M, optimized the S so the vertical endings are not too close to the middle stroke. We made the U slightly narrower, enlightened the A, and opened the gap of the G as we did for the S. Moreover, we had to narrow the entire lettering a little bit to make sure it fits to the measure of the facade according to millimeters. Finally, we showed it to the project committee. This was made out of 7 people: the architect, head of construction of the museum, signage expert, someone of the construction department, and historic preservation. To make it short, after some discussions, they were happy with the solution, and we got the okay for our version. But they told us that they found some original signage during the ongoing renovations, and they said that it doesn't match with the typeface they had so far, which was square. They knew that it was created according to findings from the same period. And I thought, oh my god, they found something completely different no one has seen before. But astonishingly, the new originals looked almost the same as the samples I knew so far. The committee just knew the square family, and obviously wasn't happy with it. They wanted to have a typeface that was as close to the actual findings as possible, and Square didn't do a proper job. Together, we decided to take the medium weight of Rektorat as a base and develop a precise replica of the letterings from 1933. To my surprise, it wasn't only Rudolf Barmettler and the museum who had samples. Also, one of the architects brought some animal boards he had taken out of the garbage in the late 1990s. Together, we listed the entire material and decided what was worth taking and what not. Step by step, we created the custom version of Rektorat. We invited all characters, narrowed the spacing. We reset the characters to their original proportions. The most adjustments were done within the figures. Finally, the customized typeface was applied to the completely renovated building of the Museum für Gestaltung in Zurich. Thank you very much.